Honorable Benny Abante.
I'd like to manifest, Mr. Chair, and to inform Madam Badoy, being a bishop of the Baptist denomination, I've always believed in Romans 13. The powers that be are ordained of God. And because of that, I have fully supported the previous administration as I am supporting now the present administration. And for you to accuse me of cuddling the communists is a big lie, a big, big lie. Just to inform you, just to inform you, so that you'll be able to know. Now, I have some questions to the SMNI officers, please. What is the process used by the SMNI when an anchor uses information from a confidential source?
Mr. Chair, we have a grievance committee, Mr. Chair.
Have your anchors actually passed through a grievance committee?
Actually, not complaining. It's not a complaint. It's not a grievance. It's a source. They make an accusation.
So we have an edit.
What is the process when an anchor uses information from the Congressman Benny? From where? From the CP?
When the anchor uses information from a confidential source.
From a confidential source. Okay.
We respect the opinions of all our anchors, Mr. Chair. So that's why we have a disclaimer about their statement, their opinions. That is not necessarily the opinion of SMNI.
Mr. Did you ever think, for example, that what your anchors are actually saying are false and fake news? Should it not be that whenever there's an anchor that make a statement against an official of the land or any private person, that automatically you have some processes that you do to be able to check that?
Mr. Chair, we believe under the principle of freedom of press, Mr. Chair, that in case there's inaccuracy, minor inaccuracy, it's still covered under freedom of press, Mr. Chair.
What is that again, please, Mr. Chair?
Freedom of press, freedom of expression, Mr. Chair, includes certain inaccuracy in the opinions of our anchors, Mr. Chair.
So you mean, Mr. Chair, that fake news is a freedom of information?
Mr. Chair, under the law, there is no such thing as fake news, Mr. Chair.
I'm not a lawyer, but I disagree with your point. Perhaps you are a very good lawyer and you have surpassed your knowledge of law.
May I have a question, Mr. Chair?
Bakit po meron libel?
Libel, Mr. Chair. So in libel, is different from fake news, Mr. Chair.
No. You throw fake news, you accuse a person, they sue you for libel, you're punished.
So that's
If
libel.
so there is a law against fake news.
Yes, Mr. Chair, in relation to libel, Mr. Chair. But there's no such thing as fake news under the definition of a law, Mr. Chair.
So if nothing wrong with fake news, then how can the court rule again that it is libelous?
We follow under the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair, with respect to freedom of press and freedom of expression, especially to any statement made by public officials in relation to public concern, Mr. Chair. And we also believe that public officials should not be onion skin, and that is our stand as a network, Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I think it's an inverted interpretation. The
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a very short interjection kasi I take exception to that statement. I think we're being too technical here, no? Nahihingi pa yung abogado ng definition ng fake news. How about some common sense? Mr. Chair, most respectfully, sa franchise nila, dissemination of deliberately false information. How about that? Yun na lang gamitin natin. Let's not go around using definitions like this. Most respectfully, Mr. Chair.
Can I respond, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Under the franchise, Mr. Chair, it says deliberate false information. I'm not saying deliberate false information. I'm saying certain inaccuracy in the information sometimes the anchors are not perfect to say all the accurate things. So that's why we believe that certain inaccuracy is still covered under the freedom of press and freedom of expression.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Mr. Chair, is there not false information when there is inaccuracy of information?
Mr. Chair, we are just citing.
Enlighten me, you're a very good lawyer. You tell me about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are just citing, this is not my opinion, Mr. Chair. We are just citing the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair, about certain inaccuracy and still covered under freedom of press as long as there is no malice or there is no bad faith, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Isn't saying that is calling the communists, isn't that to malign?
Mr. Chair,
Isn't
may I-
that an intent to malign a person? And
That's why, Mr. Chair, in case it is libelous, the good Congressman of Manila can file a case for libel against the anchor, not to cancel the franchise of SMNI.
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Chair,
perhaps the only reasoning he has is that I have not filed any case. That's it. I have not filed any case because of this, he would think that what Madam Badoy said is not malicious or is not maligning. I did not file any case against Madam Badoy because I'm a good person than her. I am very forgiving and I am very forbearing.
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
may I
I have I have another question. No? Your process, I think that what you did not answer me completely. When I asked the question, what is the process used by the SMNI when an anchor uses information from a confidential source? You did not directly answer me completely on that, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, under the SMNI procedure, Mr. Chair, we have a executive producer. We also have a deputy producer, a researcher doing that, Mr. Chair, every program.
these are employees of SMNI.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So you
Mr.
have control of this.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is the name of the source shared by the anchor with producers for betting?
Not necessarily, Mr. Chair.
Not necessarily.
Yes, because we respect the SOTO law, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, next question is this, Mr. Chair.
Ayan na naman tayo, sotulo na, hindi na ulit na nakaraan ng turne, kaninang umaga, sotulo ka na naman ng sotulo. Noong pinasa natin yung sotulo, ang linaw doon. Yung exception ng Congress, at saka nung Federal Court.
I believe, Mr. Chair, that there's an exception. The exception if it involves national security, Mr. Chair.
Na-accusation ni Ms. Batoy, saka Speaker, yung source na from Congress is not a problem of interest of state.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Hindi, tanong kita, Mr. Chair. Matanong kita, yung 1.8 na accusation ni Ms. Batoy at saka ni Eric, yung accusation dito involving the name of a certain employee in the Senate in which I only devolved ni Eric, it's not a question of the interest of the state. Ang question is Senate at the House.
our stand of that, Mr. Chair, is that Mr. Celis is not making any statement. Still, he's just asking question, Mr. Chair. That is the stand of SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Balik na naman tayo doon.
Alam nyo,
Balik na naman tayo doon.
yes, Congressman Paduano, alam po niyo mahaba ng pinag-usapan yan. At yung sinasabi nga kanina ni Congressman Toby Tiangco na paano ko magtatanong, hindi mo masabi sa amin sino kausap mo. Alam po ninyo, kung na sabi ni Congressman Tiangco, ano po ang tawag sa isang taong nagtatanong pero wala naman siyang kausap.
I respect
So,
the
di ba,
opinion,
parang medyo, hindi ko alam po ang tawag doon. Baka may konting diferensya.
I respect
Pero anyway,
the opinion of the good congressman from Congressman Tiangco, Mr. Chair. But
Yes.
still, we have our own opinion about that. Mr.
yes,
Chair.
but if you keep on insisting, because alam po ninyo, we're talking of Section 4 here.
Yes,
We're talking
Mr.
of
Chair.
Section 10 and Section 11. 10, 11 has been established. Section 4 is very, you're trying to, alam po ninyo, if you keep on going there, alam ko naman na, you're trying to get out of Section 4 at hindi mo pwedeng mawala ng saysay ang Section 4 dahil ito po ay parte ng inyong prangkisa.
Yes,
So, klaro
Mr.
ko lang
Chair.
kay Mr. Reyna at kay Eric, sinabi ko na po last week to, hindi naman po kayo ang unay na, ang pinag-usapan po rito ay yung prangkisa. Ang pinag-usapan po rito, meron bang violation? Okay? Yan ang pinag-usapan po rito. Dahil ito yung sa committee ng legislative franchise. Kung meron o wala. Yun lang ho. Mabuti ko, klaro tayo kasi pag lumihiso tayo, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, medyo mahaba ho tayo at that's very debatable because unprotected speech cannot be part of freedom of expression. There's jurisprudence to that.
Yes, we believe that.
You
Mr.
agree?
Chair.
You would agree. So yun, so you cannot just character assassinate without verifying and making sure. Kasi meron pong karangalan, may pangalan ho yung taong yan. Then in the reverse, I'm sure you will also feel bad.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
May
And you will,
opinion,
you will
Mr. Chair.
also you will also say that it's not anymore freedom of expression because now you're maligning somebody. So the
May
honorable
opinion.
yes, the honorable Benny Abante is
Okay,
for.
let me ask. Does SMNI have an ombudsman or an officer who acts on complaints regarding the accuracy of his report or the statement of the anchors?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have a grievance committee, Mr. Chair.
What does the grievance committee do when Madam Badoy began to malign me and told me I was a coddler that Pastor Kibuloy took it and began to attack me?
Mr. Chair,
Where is the grievance committee there? Mr. Chair,
with respect to the one,
where is your grievance committee there?
Mr. Chair, with respect to the 1.8 billion, Mr. Chair, yes, there is a grievance committee, but with respect to the complaint of Congressman Abante, Mr. Chair, because there was no official complaint in our grievance committee, so there was no action for that, Mr. Chair.
The grievance committee would only kick in pag ito po ay may reklamo,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
di ba? Kung walang reklamo, who will now, I mean, you have the franchise. Mr. Rain does not own the franchise. Eric doesn't own the franchise. It is your company, the company that you represent.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Isn't it your job to make sure that it's done correctly? And don't we have the responsibility to? I think, ilan po yung sa opening statement ko na pakinggan nyo po yung last week. Sinabi ko naman po na ginagawa rin po namin to para ang mga protektahan din natin ang media, no? Ang
Thank you for
lahat
that, Mr.
ng
Chair.
iba't ibang sektor. Pag nawalan ho ng credibility dyan, sino ho maniniwala? No? So I think that's very careful. I think that's yun ang pinaglalaban ng isang media practitioner that happened to be a congressman, the Honorable Benny Abante.
I cannot explain that in details, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to follow up the question, no? Meron na ba kayong dinisiplina? Meron na ba kayong disiplinang host or writers? For inaccurate, you said kanina, inaccurate, for inaccurate reports? Meron na ba kayong disiplina?
We believe, Mr. Chair, with respect to the grievance committee, they are absolutely confidential, so I cannot reveal in details.
My goodness. It is a committee hearing and we would like to find out the truth.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but
Why would you be here and tell us about confidential? Meron ba o wala?
Yes, Mr.
Meron
Chair,
na ba
yes.
kayong disiplina?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Ilan?
I have no personal knowledge to the number, Mr. Chair, but I'm sure that there is.
Umani naman ito ng iba't ibang reaksyon mula sa ating mga netizens. Ayon kay Brasha JV, maraming representante sa Congress ang hindi para sa bayan, kundi para sa pansariling interes nila lamang. Pahayag naman ni Melmore o Notney, Kangaroo Court. Ang totoo niyan ay naalarma lang talaga kayo ng questionin yung extraordinary fund ng amo nyo at baka magkabukingan. At ito naman ang saloobin mula sa ating kababayan na si Danny Pedro, pastor ka pa naman tapos sinusuportahan mo ang NPA. Nakakahiya ka, sir. Mga kababayan, feel free to comment below para maglabas ng saloobin sa balitang ito.